In this presentation, we will give you an overview of how different kinds of ethical theories are used for evaluating lethal autonomous weapon systems. We will focus on virtue ethics and deontology. We will see that each theory does have some limitations regarding moral behavior of autonomous systems. The importance of evaluating those autonomous systems with ethical theories will become apparent during this presentation. First, we will discuss the Navy report that argues for a combination of virtue ethics and deontology. Then we will approach both theories differently. Finally, we will use these examples to decide if we should be worried about this technology in the future.
Engineers are very good at building systems to satisfy clear task specifications, but there is no clear task specification for general moral behavior, nor is there a single answer to the question of whose morality or what morality should be implemented in AI. However, military operations are conducted within a legal framework of international treaties as well as the nation's own military code. This suggests that the rules governing acceptable conduct of personnel might perhaps be adapted for robots. One might attempt to design a robot which has an explicit internal representation of the rules and strictly follows them, but this deontological approach gives some implications. Events and situations which are unforeseen or insufficiently imagined by the programmers occur, causing the robot to perform badly or simply do horrible things, is probably caused because it is rule-bound. In robotics, so-called friendliness theory attempts to deal with this issue. Rather than using any finite set of top-down rules or laws, intelligent machines should be programmed to be basically virtuous, using virtue ethics, and then use machine learning in various settings to create a kind of best judgment in how to carry out properly altruistic actions. This means that machine learning is used to naturally develop virtues. This approach sidesteps the fundamental calculation and programming problem of how to account for a vast number of unforeseeable eventualities. This is a bottom-up approach in where the robot uses machine learning to form its own rules. However, this theory has a problem with military robots. We would not want them to always act altruistically towards some humans. In fact, we would want them to be able to kill the right humans and not the wrong, friendly ones. Therefore, we need an approach that enables machines to use a basic top-down program, a deontological approach, in combination with a bottom-up machine learning to be able to function excellently in its military roles and without malfunctioning.
I read A Typology of Arguments about Drone Ethics by Merijn Broos. A significant part of the paper was about virtue ethics related to drone use during war. Let me introduce you to some arguments by using this quote of the philosopher Daniel Dennett. A robot needs to have a past, the ability to exhibit consciousness, and have conscious moral understanding to be a moral agent. How to make sure that a drone can kill humane? Is that even possible? Philosopher Noel Sharkey states the following about this subject. To be humane is by definition to be characterized by kindness, mercy and sympathy. These are all human attributes that are not appropriate in the discussion of software for controlling mechanical devices. I personally think this is an important point in the ethics of autonomous drones debate, because you can now think about the important values during war and how drones can't handle these values. Important values during war are duty and honor through socialization, education and practice. What is a drone without these values? A warfighter or a terrorist? And what about a nation's image? Can the nation's image become tainted by being associated with unsavory practice? I personally think that we need to tackle this problem first before making use of these autonomous drones.
At this moment, lethal robots are not yet fully autonomous. They currently do not make decisions on their own about when, whether or not to engage a target. In Auken's article, Ethical Robots in Warfare, he claims that autonomous robot soldiers can be better than human soldiers in conducting warfare in certain circumstances. He declares that robots could be more humane in the battlefield than humans. He argues why and how autonomous robots can be sometimes morally better than humans. Humans in the heat of combat could have a clouded judgment for reasons such as vengeance, anger, frustration, or the desire for victory. And we could design robots without emotion that causes these clouded judgments. And their judgment could be conducted by programming the laws of war and the rules of engagement. The decision to shoot or not to shoot is becoming way too short for remote humans to make intelligent, informed decisions in many situations that arise in modern warfare. Robots extract more information from more sources quicker and so make the best moral decision by analyzing all the information they know and applying this to the laws of war and rules of engagement. This is in line with Kant's ideas of deontology. These rules are the universal principle to which we, humans, agreed that we wanted to be a universal moral law.
The ideas that we have mentioned so far are focused on the future and cannot yet be implemented due to limited technology. However, there are already weapon systems being used in the present times that are somewhat autonomous, and Galliet and Scholz argue that we are ethically required to develop ethical systems for the current weapon systems as well. They make a distinction between maximally just AI and minimally just AI. Max AI systems are the systems that would think and reason autonomously to solve complex ethical issues all by themselves. These systems would be able to reason about complex situations. However, since these systems are not yet advanced and robust enough to be deployed, Galliet and Scholz argue that we are ethically required to develop minimum AI systems instead. Min AI systems focus on a small set of issues, making sure that some of the most extreme unethical acts are prevented. For example, Min AI can be used in drones to recognize religious buildings, Red Cross facilities, or even allied people. This Min AI system can then override the targeting system when one of these features is present in the target location of an attack, making sure that certain humanitarian errors and acts of fratricide cannot be committed. The system is a good example of how a deontological philosophy can already be implemented in weapon systems right now. During the Geneva Convention, a large group of representatives have come to the agreement that we must refrain from certain actions during war. These include attacking religious buildings, Red Cross facilities, and people who signal their surrender. By implementing these Min AI systems on all weapons in all countries, we can make sure that everyone follows these ethical guidelines.
Movies often create the idea that lethal autonomous weapon systems are dangerous and will get out of hand when dealing with ethical issues during warfare. In this presentation, we have discussed different approaches that can be used to make sure that this does not happen. It is important that we keep paying close attention to the design process of these systems to ensure that all the ethical guidelines are taken into consideration. Whenever new developments are made in this field, we should discuss how the ethical approaches can be used in evaluating the morality of this new technology. As long as we keep the discussion about morality in warfare going, we think that we don't have to worry about the dystopian scenarios illustrated by Hollywood. Thank you all for watching.